The topic is which is the end product, that is survivorship for lung cancer. Myself, Vivek Tomar, I am a patient advocate for lung cancer, cancer research, clinical trials, and timely access to the latest treatment in India. A caregiver, a proud caregiver, works with many patient support group, co-founder of Health Positive India, and in advisory role to government, NGOs, and pharma companies. Works majorly under the name of Rise to Survive Cancer. So let's start. I want to say thank you, and this is not just a thank you for the invitation. This is a bigger thank you, much bigger thank you, because as Dr. Nitesh rightly mentioned, how many times we hear true patient voice, we hear patient advocate, especially in medical conference or any conference. How many times you see that patient advocate, your patient's voice is the initial of the program. They are at the last when most of the policy maker or key decision maker already left. And it is very important that we kept patient advocate in such critical platforms, including the medical one, because it humanized the cancer, it humanized the problem. And I just give you the example, if you can see the photo. So this was when we went to meet with the Health Secretary of Government of India, DCGI, and their whole team. And there were some leading oncologists and all pharma companies, leading pharma companies representative, and they were talking clinical trials rules, business, and everything. When Kusum and I spoke, everything changed. And they were listening, they were seeing that, okay, we are talking about Kusum. And I'm so proud to say that that day we made 3 proposals. One was that if there is medicine already approved in other countries, why a clinical trial required in India? Why there is a limitation of a PI, that how many trials they can have, because we have less number of PI in India, and the bed limitation, which was minimum. And all 3 were accepted within 1 year by Government of India and the regulatory office. So my message is, and that's my first message, is that power of the patient voice cannot be underscored. If we too can do, look what all patient advocates with oncologists, surgeons, policy maker can change for this India. And that's how I'd like to start. And thank you for this milestone Nelcon team, because first time there is a keynote speaker as a patient advocate. So thank you so much. So let's humanize first. I'm going to give you a quick flashback of our journey, only in 5 minutes, and some key points, and I'm trying to connect those key points which I'm going to convey. So this is my journey. This is our journey. This is journey of love. The left-hand side photo is just before diagnosis, and the top right side photo is 10 days before Kusum passed away, and in between it was just fighting with the cancer. Kusum was diagnosed in early 2012 at stage 4 lung cancer, metastatic to brain, and n number of parts in the body. But I will take 2 years back. She was earlier diagnosed with migraine for almost 2 years by neurologist. And please mind, I would be trying to be very open and honest with all big due respect to everyone. So this is nothing to say wrong to anyone, but this is a true story. Then then continue the problem increase. We went to one of the NCR big hospital, a topmost neurologist, and he diagnosed her with TB. First with brain tuberculoma, and after 6 months of treatment, at that time there were 6 nodules, and after 6 months of treatment in early 2012, we came to know that, oh, there is a cancer in brain. Oh, there is a lung cancer which is already metastatic to brain, and now mets are 10, and some are in centimeters, and 2 were in the inches. That's how our journey starts. So the world first we start with the tuberculosis wrong diagnosis, which usually very much happened in the lung cancer area. Then we were asked how much time she do have, because that was the most important question for us. Just to mention that Kusum and I both were pharma background. We were pharmaceutical scientists, and at the time of diagnosis, Kusum was associate professor in a pharmaceutical university. When we asked, we were given 3 months to 6 months to live, and that was the original data at that time. And it happened true, because after 3 months of chemotherapy, and even at that time, crizotinib was not there. She went into coma with severe pericardial effusion and all over the body. Luckily, in the same month, US got approval for crizotinib. It was not even available in compassionate ground in India. We worked, and within week we got crizotinib. It worked well for almost 2 years. Then, despite brain mets, then we got progression. We thought, okay, we will get medicine again. So what the new medicine? So it was Novartis Ceritinib, and I thought, okay, let's connect with our oncologist and let's connect to get Ceritinib. Was it approved? No, but within few days, luckily again, it got accelerated approval in US, first approval. So then we were looking for the clinical trials were going on all over the world. We met and we found that it cannot become in India because something bad happened between 2012 to 2014 in the clinical trial one in India. Some people did wrong, and then everyone become guinea pig. Then every principal investigator become a butcher, and every pharma companies were money, and the loss were majorly the patients like us. Kusum was without any medicine, and it was 2 months, and she was almost going to die, and she was almost declared died at that time. And then we fight. I took leaves for a few months from my job, and we fight. I know maybe the people from Novartis or policymaker or some of the oncologists here, I fight with you all. Then you became my good friend. I remember it was a medical conference, SARC Oncology conference in Gurgaon. And we obviously, as patients, we were not in there, but we took some pass, we took some jugaad as mentioned, and we entered. And Ravi Shankar, Sri Ravi Shankar was there to do meditation for oncologists, and he usually asked questions. And Kusum asked one question. She woke up, what is my mistake? Because I'm an Indian, I can't get the medicine. And things changed. And after 3 months of struggle, we bring clinical trial of Ceritinib in India, and Kusum became the first patient to get that medicine on 1st January 2015. The journey continues. Again, Ceritinib works wonder. It again went to almost 2 years. Then this thing came resistance, and this time it was in brain. And the numbers started to grow. 10 meds, 12, 13, 15, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22, 30, 32, and the bigger one. We asked for medicine. Now the next one was Roche Alectinib, and I know Roche people are here and they would be smiling. We came to know that Alectinib is not planned for India at all, because it was blockbuster, and India, because of the people started to create generics, so they have not planned for bring Alectinib in India. Meanwhile, it goes around 3 to 4 months, and Kusum went into paralysis. At that time, I was crying, and I was very angry. And I started to fight with and work with. I am doing emails on, even for the thing on the emails where you mentioned like contact us, and we found support. Then be it NDTV, Barkadat, G News, and many of you who are in the call as oncologists and pharma companies support us. And I it's a huge long list, and it became a campaign. And we reached to the Roche global level, headquarter level, and they changed the rule for India for Kusum. And she became the first patient from India to get the Alectinib under compassionate research program on 17th January 2017. And after that, Kusum asked me, what about others? Because there were 17 other patients in the clinical trial of Ceritinib who already progressed. And we continue to work, and the policy changed for all the patients for India. And now you see lots of patients are on Alectinib and Ceritinib. The drug wonders. It was 17 January 2017, and in September 2017, she completed 5 years at stage 4 lung cancer metastatic to brain, bone, adnexia, ovaries, and backbone, and everywhere. And she ran marathon in Delhi. And this middle photo is there, where she ran in this marathon in 2017 after 7 or 8 months of paralysis, with a t-shirt that 5 year stage 4 serving with hope, courage, clinical trials, and research medicine. And for me, it was the love. In total, Kusum participated in 6 research medicines and clinical trials, and unfortunately, she passed away on 5th Feb 2019. And it was not the cancer. Some of you know, means cancer was under control. She was again on a research medicine, but her body was not that good internally. She has struggled a lot without medicines when searching for this new medicine. But before she left, every L medicine is now in India, and I'm so proud of her, and I want to thank you. So this is my journey, and I want to now move further and reconnect. This just few photos and how we live the journey. This was Kusum at different phases and smiling face, never wear a wig, because she said cancer is not my thing. The most important thing, she was never a smoker, and that I would like to cover how we struggled as being stigmatized after having lung cancer. And we celebrated every year cancer anniversary on the day we were diagnosed until she passed away, because we enjoyed the life every moment despite the struggle. So this was our journey. Um, so sorry. Now I connected the point that she was a never smoker, but there is a stigma, and I want to challenge this audience today that we are not doing right even in India. When we talk about the lung cancer advocacy, we talk, and we did recently also, about smoking and everything, because that was easy to target. But you know how patients go to treat. You can't imagine the troll Kusum and I got when we started the advocacy for lung cancer or clinical trial. For clinical trial, we were said guinea pig, but for lung cancer, we got so much abuse in the name of, no, she must have smoked. And I said no, because we were doing advocacy. There are a lot of articles, videos on media. So someone said, you are lying, she must have smoked because it is a lung cancer, or her parents had smoked, or you must have smoked. No, we all never did smoking. But unfortunately, we never speak. When we speak of lung cancer, we speak of only smoking. We know that lung cancer is turning into epidemic in India, killing more people than collateral prostate, and I'm sure this already covered. As per Lancet report, we know if 43% is from the tobacco, so around 43% is also due to, could be the air pollution. And I know, I see Kumar Parbar, Dr. Prabhat Malik, and all of you, lot of studies, Dr. Laz, showing the incidence of lung cancer cases are alarmingly increased in non-smokers and women in India. And we have data now, as per IRC report, increase in much more dramatic in women in India. And have you ever thought, why only pink light for breast cancer awareness? Why nothing has happened in the lung cancer awareness month in India? This is the photo for this month, which I took from the Hyderabad, when everything is pink. I want to take a long pause, though there is no time, but think about it, because we all are guilty. We know that there are now majority of the new lung cancer cases are never smoker or non-smokers, but we don't talk about it because it's hard to talk. But if we as leaders in our areas, we who passionately are sitting today, we are not going to change this, nobody is going to change this for us. So my takeaway message is, anyone with lung, including you, me, and anyone, can have lung cancer. And please, the other message is help. Please help us, help you to fight with this stigma. Let's help each other to light up the lung cancer in India, so that at least people start to talk about it empathetically. People start not to abuse us. Someone asked me, and sitting in this group right now, 2 days back, why only Vivek is doing lung cancer advocacy, not others? Why there is no lung cancer patient advocate? Because first, we have such a poor survival rate in India for lung cancer. Nobody left, no patient left. Almost everybody is dying. And then second reason is, we are getting abused, and not everybody can be abused, and it's not hard to getting those abused and proudly say that I will continue with the lung cancer advocacy. So please help each other. The next point, and I'm sure it covered in my previous presenter, wonderful presentation, the clinical trials. And I'm going to show you something, a quick video, and I hope it, if it can't change anything. I'm not sure what going to change anything. So let me know. I hope you can hear this.
But I want to say just few words on the clinical trial. Most of the well-educated people and media, they use the word guinea pig for the patient or for the human being. But I'm proud to be a guinea pig who can contribute for the society. If it can contribute to the society, then what we can do. I'm very proud of myself that I contribute for the patients who are not getting the medicines. This advanced technology, there is a heading there, research touching the life. No, research giving the life, not only touching the life.
I think that's the message. Research touching, not touching the life. Research is giving the life. Research is saving the lives. And these are the success stories from our ALK group. So Kusum was at that time the longest survivor. I hope now there will be more survivor in India with all medicine available. And she participated in 6 trial. And then my dear friend Linia Olson, who is the longest ALK survivor, 15 years and counting, never smoker. She is now her 4th phase 1 trial of ALK treatment, already completed 3. First patient from crizotinib, first on ceritinib, first on lorlatinib, and now after lorlatinib failure, she is in her next with Dr. Alice T. Shaw. She is in the next 4th phase 1 trials, and she is still surviving. And it's for 15 years and counting. And these are the faces you want to see, we want to see, and world wants to see that how it's research saving the life. And there was a question always when I speak that patients don't ready for trials. No, patients want research. So this is the example from ALK group. On 23rd September, we give $1.6 million of research project, which we collected all over the world through donation, purely for these 3 projects, which I'm not going in detail. But my message is, we have not seen a single application from the India application, India researchers for this such a huge budget project. Also, when I try to speak with many, there were reasons given that the rules are not good in India, we can't do the clinical trial. And I always wonder, what about those in different hospitals who are doing clinical trials every year? Are not they afraid of those rules? And if there is any problem, let's work together and change this thing. So my takeaway message is to all you with hand folded, please, 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 you all start to participate, lead, or even try to have only 1 clinical trial per year at your side for lung cancer, and see how the accessibility of medicines, affordability of medicines, survival rate, and quality of life will be changed for lung cancer in India forever, because cancer research saves life. Moving to the next one, I'm sure it covered from the day 1 to till now, affordability and accessibility. The previous presenter has shared some really good data, and I'm sure others have given raw data. What I'm going to share a bit of the other perspective also. So this year, May 2020, as you know, we see 6 new lung cancer treatment approved by US FDA. So there are great news for lung cancer. Since 2015, 28 approvals, in which 21 approvals from only January 2018. And for so these are things, when everything is so good, then why, as per this EIU 2020 report in APEC, India is having the one of the lowest 5-year survival rate in the lung cancer? Why patient in India not able to get latest best treatment? I did some surveys in the ALK patient community, and please note that these surveys are not published or IRB approved. So take it indicatively only, and because it may not provide the actual picture, but it will give you the idea. So ALK and global group. So if we see, we are still more on crizotinib and ceritinib, not on alectinib, brigatinib, or lorlatinib, and there may be the regions. I have not shared the global survey data, which I do have, because it is currently under review and approval of IRB, and maybe published in the one of the global conference. But global ALK community, if I suggest that it has 80% patients on alectinib or lorlatinib combined. So it is completely Philip. And when I try to find the region, just in the data form, so if you can see, 62% Indian ALK patient has compromised in selecting AKI, and I would say 62% Indian oncologist has to compromise in selecting the preferable ALK TKI, which could be alectinib, which could be lorlatinib, based on the because of the high cost of medicine. Targeted therapy cost biomarking testing. I was just thinking, could Ayushman Bharat, who have 5 lakh rupees, because there are hundreds of poor health patients who can't afford anything, could be answered. And in one of the program, I got the opportunity 2 months back to ask with CEO of Ayushman Bharat, Dr. Indu Bhushan, can targeted therapy be included in the Ayushman Bharat? Okay, answer was different, but my biggest worry was his answer was, what is targeted therapy? And I was like, what? He is having so, I'm not taking about any company pharma medicine. I'm taking about targeted therapy, which is kind of present and a big future of the big present of the lung cancer treatment, and especially in the adenocarcinoma. But he was not aware. Who's going to make him aware? He may be able to help. It's you and I, but never. And same for biomarker testing. The cost around 35,000 to 50,000 minimum, and how much biomarking testing thing, and that I'm going to cover very soon. So this topic, and which I connect further, is timely diagnosis, right diagnosis, and right treatment. So some of the this slide was presented yesterday in ISLC liquid biopsy conference around the same time, and just I copy paste because it just connected with my next slide. That first, biomarking testing don't happen. If it happen only for EGFR, max ALK, but not for other mutations. And then 45% after biomarking testing, not given the right treatment. In many EGFR and ALK patient given immunotherapy as first line treatment after diagnosed with the right mutation. And you know it because I have raised it with examples on Twitter many times, that some of the doctors who may not be aware of the latest thing, who are the rural part of India, they don't know about what is the latest, but who's going to make them know? I think it's you, the leader, who was here in conference, not the person who is not in the conference. And I have a lot of data and actual example where such gaps were there. So this is an example about timely diagnosis. 80% of patients currently in India in my group of ALK diagnosis is only diagnosed at stage 4. So the question is, why not timely diagnosis? Why not we are having the test? Why not PMJ have something for lung cancer? Why not what we are doing? And then about wrong diagnosis, which happened in Kusum case. So 39 patient has the wrong diagnosis before actual diagnosis and treatment. And the last point, which I'm trying to connect, and it's again with whole due respect, that 45% of the patients in our community move to the metro cities with doctors like yourself, because they were not able to get the right treatment or better treatment, or their oncologist was not aware what should be given. And these are the facts from the patient community, and which we need to change. So what is takeaway? I think you all and this organization ISLC, as the leader in the field of lung cancer, can help and should help to ensure that best treatment practice for lung cancer across pan India should be practiced. The next one is about the quickly patient advocacy. So what is advocacy to change what is into what should be? Or in my own words, patient support groups are giving the Baisakis because to support either money support or emotional support, while patient advocacy is giving the enough food and the right treatment so that they don't need the Baisakhi. And this is the different. And unfortunately, in India, we have lots of patient support group, but where are patient advocacy? I'm just giving you an example, not to showcase myself, but Kusum and I, when we started this patient advocacy, and you see, we are here, we did for clinical trials, even we have now brigatinib, alectinib, crizotinib, all medicine in India, and with Kusum. Even when Kusum left, Suryans and I, with lung cancer treatment, we run in the marathons for the compassionate program. There were in hospitals and outside, there were people looting. They are charging for import license, and we did how to get the license, and it's on YouTube, and for motivation. So the point is, patient advocacy is the partner, and they can help to get it, what needs to be avoided. And I think we should learn from ISLC. So when I went to the World Lung Cancer Conference to receive the Best Patient Advocacy Award, I was shocked, and I'm still shocked, and in a good way. The patient advocate was center, and the physician, and it was such a big conference. From the keynote, from the every press conference, from every key decision, patient and were engaged, empowered, and like the elk data I've shared, that patients were collecting money and giving to the doctors to do the research, to the researchers. Can not ISLC and we and the all other medical community and all the patient community and the government learn from this and involve more patient advocate and make them as a true partner to help you, because it will reduce the burden to every one of us. The next quick one is about the which I want to raise, and I don't know why it has happened. Global Lung Cancer Patient Support Group. So there are we talk about, and you talk about, I follow Twitter, I follow research paper of yours about global oncology, and lots of paper are on global oncology. And you know why global oncology is important. You are already doing national oncology through this conference. But when it comes to the patient support group, there are still the old mentality that patient support group should be hospital based, not the national level or international level. And there is not a single patient support group dedicated to lung cancer in India except mine, that is L positive, a sister form of L positive global group, which Kusum and I created. But you can go into slide later. We have now groups who are supporting, and they are across the world. We have patient support group. The other example, which I think Dr. Kumar Prabhas has mentioned about TMH online lung cancer support group. So Dr. Kumar, Dr. Vanita, I, Prabhat, Sanjeev, we sat 2 years back and we thought of it. So TMH was doing again the hospital thing, and I said, if you would make it hospital thing, it would remain the hospital one. Patients from North India or from the Assam, Bihar, they may need the equal support. They may get the support from Kumar Prabhas and online. And then we generated this idea of online lung cancer, and now you see how it is going. And it always has a patient advocate, motivator speaker, and a doctor and a nutritionist or the emotional support group. Takeaway messages: involve patient advocates, please, at each and every platform. They are here to partner and help you to achieve the common goal of betterment of patients. They are here to take off some of your burden. They are here to help to achieve what is needed. And we are in this together. So towards the closing, and I would not say that this is summary, but again, I'm hand-folded today because this is a big opportunity. I would say this is a request to each of you, and especially the ISLC as an organization, that survivorship for lung cancer is a journey, is a shared journey. Okay, you want survivorship, we want survivorship, all of us want survivorship. So then it's a shared journey, and you are the one who could, being the leader, change the face of lung cancer. We will be together, but we need that support together. So obviously, let's no more stigma, please, no more stigma, and let's raise better awareness about lung cancer next month, when November is the lung cancer awareness month. Research saves life, and who could better say than Kusum what she did in that video. And as like my previous presenter, it is the big answer to the cancer problem, lung cancer problem in India. It is kind of the next level of treatment. So if ALK has first generation, second generation, third generation, this is like the fourth generation. This is like the another option, like radiotherapy, chemotherapy, target therapy, then clinical trial is another option. We have to look the clinical trial, and all of you and patients, we have to come forward and do more trials. Why only 1.4 global clinical trials in India, despite 17% population disease burden? Why not it is 32%? Let's make that, and it helps us. The next is encourage, engage, and empower the patient advocates. And I can't say more than enough. Let's work with the policymaker, pharma companies for affordability and accessibility. If Kusum and I can change so much thing as one person, so we both were not decided that we should have lung cancer. We decided but to become a lung cancer patient advocate or clinical trial patient advocate. See what we as a team can do. And this is not a dream which can't be possible. This is just very near and we have to do it. It is just in front of us. And like global and national oncology, let's be open for global and national patient support group. It would help you because then patient would be more empowered, engaged and encouraged, not as self-advocate, and they come ready with the right questions and they come ready with the options. They will understand and you will have less time to make them understand. And for the pan India, I think you can only do is right and timely diagnosis and treatment across pan India, because you can help others to understand who don't reach to such conferences. And in the end, I look forward for ICLC and you to lead this, and together we can change the face on lung cancer. And remember, as Kusum said, in this case, losing is not an option. So thank you.